Students are heading back to school. Health experts are sounding the alarm about the threat kids face from the latest generation of e-cigarettes and other tobacco products.
Yeah, so here to share more with us, we have Brian King with the campaign for tobacco-free kids. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Okay, Brian, let's start with how are e-cigarettes and other tobacco products really harming our kids' brain development, and it really affects their attention and memory and learning. Explain all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the common ingredient in these products is nicotine, and nicotine is a highly addictive drug, but it can also harm the developing adolescent brain, which actually continues to develop till about age 25 and 26. And nicotine can also prime the brain for addiction to other drugs. And so ultimately, this is not a substance that you want to expose the adolescent brain to, particularly since it impacts the part of the brain that's responsible for really important things like learning, attention, memory, all things that we want to make sure are top of their game for kids as they head back to school in the new year.
So what's making them so attractive to the kids? Is it the way they look, or is it the way they're flavored?
Yeah, so it's a variety of factors, and I actually have one product here that is a game. And so a lot of them now are coming out with Bluetooth screens. They have gaming systems within them. Some of them look like smartphones. There's also newer products that resemble everyday objects, such as highlighters. And so it's really important that educators and parents are aware of this new crop of products that can be easily concealed. In addition to those factors, we also know that flavors are really appealing. So 9 out of 10 kids who are using these products are using flavored varieties. And so that combination of the advertising and promotion, the flavors ultimately hook the kids. And then once they do try them, they get addicted because of that nicotine.
Wow. And I had never seen the one with the game on it. So that is even more eye-opening than any of the information. Brian, how can parents and teachers identify those that someone is actually using an e-cigarette and help really prevent them from starting and helping them quit?
Yeah, so given the impact of nicotine on the brain, we know that it can modify behavior. And so things for parents and educators to look out for is changes in behavior, including changes in mood, changes in sleep patterns, changing in food, and various dietary factors, and really looking for changes. And if you do see those types of changes, that's the opportunity for a conversation. And we know that frequent and quick conversations can be more effective than a longer a sit down, and really just importantly talking about the risks of these products. And if you do have a youth who's using them, you don't want to be punitive, because remember, this is a product, a drug that's rewired their brain, so you need to get them help. And so the first line of defense there should be a pediatrician to make sure they get evidence-based access to care to help them quit using these products.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, get the pediatrician involved there. Okay, run down kind of the list of what these e-cigarettes are out there on the market, and there are even nicotine pouches to be aware of.
Yeah, so what we don't want to be doing is playing a game of public health whack-a-mole, where we're knocking other products down and allowing others to go up. And so we're at a 25-year low when it comes to tobacco product use. But in recent years, we've seen an evolution of new products, and that includes nicotine pouches. And so these are smokeless, spitless pouches that you put between the lip and the gum. And it's the only tobacco products where we've actually seen a slight uptick in use among kids within the past few years. And so it's really important that we're vigilant, not just for e-cigarettes, which get a lot of attention, but also these newer nicotine pouches, which also are heavily promoted, including on social media, and also come in youth appealing flavors.
Okay, Brian, how can the FDA and other policymakers really protect the kids and crack down on the illegal products and funding the education campaigns?
Yeah, so the key here is regulation and education. And when it comes to regulation, FDA has the authority to regulate the manufacturing, marketing, and sale of these products. But there's other federal agencies as well that have a role, including Department of Justice and also Customs and Border Protection, who are responsible for enforcement to make sure that these products are not getting into the supply chain, anything from the distributors all the way down to retailers. But in addition to that federal regulatory work, education is also key. And so we do have a situation situation where we're actually seeing a pullback in these campaigns, which we know work. And so examples are CDC's Tips from Former Smokers campaign, and also FDA's The Real Cost campaign, which focuses on youth prevention of tobacco, including e-cigarettes. And recently, those programs have been cut back. So all the more reinforcement of the importance of engaging with decision makers to ensure that we have those resources and strategies in place that we know work to prevent our kids from using a completely preventable health risk.
Yeah. And Brian, thanks so much for bringing this to our attention, since there are so many different ones out there that look like school supplies. And hopefully it will get some conversations going in our homes.